Hi guys, it's me Akanksha. Welcome to Come Code Conquer. Today we'll be talking about strings in Python. We have already seen a few examples of string in our previous video data types where we printed out hello world and also saw how to define a string variable. If you haven't watched the video, check out the link in the description box below or click on the link displayed onto the top right corner of this video. As I said earlier, Python provides really cool built-in string operations, so let's jump right into the video. In this tutorial, we will be going through these topics: defining a string variable and escape sequence, slicing, built-in methods, string operations, interpolation, template class, and finally we are going to answer how are strings immutable. A few things which we have already seen is that a string is a sequence of characters enclosed in quotes. So anything between these quotes is considered as a string. So hello world in quotes is a string. Even numbers inside double quotes are considered as strings. Also a combination of alphabets and numbers in double quotes is also considered as a string. We need to remember that in Python there is no need to end a statement using semicolons unlike other programming languages. It works on white spaces and determines the end of the statements on its own. So before we get into strings, let's first understand the term function, or it is called as method in Python, which we have been using till now to refer the print statement. So method is a group of statements which performs an action. So print in the bracket hello world. This is a print method. Print is the name given to the method which prints something on the console. Now print is a Python built-in function. As we did not write the code of how to print on the console, we are just directly using it. Similarly, Python has provided us with built-in string methods which can be applied to strings. Now whatever we put inside the brackets of the method is called as an argument. It can be of the data type which the method accepts. Here in print function, hello world is of data type string which is passed as an argument. So then when we run this code, hello world is printed on our console, which is the task of this print method. So more on methods will be covered in later videos. Let's start with our first topic of defining a string variable. Let's store hello world in variable, let's say message. So message is equal to, in double quotes, hello world. Now let's use this print method to print message variable. So inside the print method, type message. So let's run it. It gives us hello world. So Python has stored hello world correctly in our message variable. Now let's use single quotes instead of double quotes and run the program. Again, it gives the same output. Let us use triple quotes, which can be single quotes or double quotes 3 times, and define a multi-line string. Let's say this is a fun tutorial on Python fundamentals. So we have added a space here and put on Python fundamentals in a new line. Now let's go ahead and run this statement. It gives us the output exactly how we have defined it, including these spaces and a new line. Now double quotes are useful when you have to print a single quote as it is inside a string. So let's say my string is hi, it's me. So this is my string in which I have a single quote inside the string. Python has considered this apostrophe as the end of the string, and it is giving us error for the rest of the string. So to avoid this, we can use double quotes to represent such strings. Same applies for the vice versa. Let's say if I had a string, he said, "This is my pen." So if I have such a string and if I represent it using double quotes, this will give us an error. Why? Because this double quote right here is considered as the end of the statement and the rest of it is giving us an error. So to avoid this error, we can use single quotes instead of double quotes to represent this string. And then when we run this, it would give us the right output. Now Python has also provided us with something called as escape sequence, which is represented using a backslash. So when we have such strings where we want Python to consider the characters as it is, or which are illegal to use inside a string, we use escape character. So let's consider the same strings using escape sequence. So what we do is when we define a string, we just put a backslash before the character we want to use as it is. So let's say we have this string and we want Python to consider this double quotes as it is. So I will just put a backslash before it and even at the end of the string representing this double quote. Now it wouldn't matter now if I use single quotes or double quotes because this backslash is telling the character that I want to print this as it is. So let's run it and here we get the output as it is. Now if I use double quotes instead of single quotes and then run it, we will get the same output. Escape sequence is also widely used for a new line character in the string. This is done by using \n. So let's see an example of this. Let's say I have a string called as "This is a fun tutorial on Python fundamentals." And I want to print on Python fundamentals on the next line. So before that, I will just use \n character and represent this string inside double quotes. So let's run it here. Here we can see that before \n characters are printed on one line and the rest of the string is printed on the new line. Same applies for printing out single quote or a backslash inside a string. We can just use double backslash to print a slash inside a string and backslash single quote to print the single quote inside a string. Now let's move on to the next topic, which is slicing. Slicing is to access characters from a string. So let's consider the same message variable which says hello world. Now hello world is a simple string, so it would be easier for us to learn. To fetch a part of the string, you just need to specify the start and end of the part. The position of a character inside a string is called as an index. So every character in this hello world string has an index. The index in a string starts from 0. So H is 0, E is 1, L is 2, the next L is 3 and so on. So if we consider hello world as a string, its index would look like this. Even a space is considered as a character inside a string. To access characters from a string, we use square brackets after the name of the string. So let's say I want the fourth character from this string, which is 1, 2, 3, 4, which is L. Right? So I will just type message in square brackets 4. Is that right? No. 3. Why? Because fourth character is present at the index 3. Now let's go ahead and print this. This gives us L, which is this 0, 1, 2 and 3. Now to slice more than one character from a string, we just type string variable followed by square brackets, and inside the brackets we type the start and end index. So if I say I want to print the first 3 characters from the string, we would type 0, colon and 3. Now if I go ahead and print this statement, we get HEL, which are the first 3 characters. Now we need to remember that starting index is inclusive and ending index is not. So when we print 0 to 3 characters, the characters at 0, 1 and 2 are printed and 3 is not included. We have mentioned the end index as 3, so the string will be sliced only till index 2. So when I say print message 2 to 7, it will print all the characters from index 2 to 6. Now let's check it out. Here, H is 0, E is 1, L is 2. So from L, 3, 4, 5 and 6 till W. So we get the output LLO space and W. Now if we want to slice from starting of the string, we can leave the start index as blank. So let's just say this, leave the first index as blank and run it. We get the string from the starting. Now if we want to slice till the end of the string, it is possible to leave the end index as blank. So let's say I want all the characters from 2 till the end of the string. Let's print it. We get LLO space world, which is from index number 2 till the end of the string. Right? Now if we want to get the entire string, we can leave both the start and the end indexes blank. So let's run it. We get the entire string here. Now there is also a third parameter called steps that is to be mentioned when we want to specify how many steps to take while slicing. By default it is 1. So when we type I want a string from 0 to index 8, taking 2 steps at a time. And then when we run it, we get from 0, so it is from the starting of the string, till 8, which is till R, that is index number 7, and 2 steps at a time. So first H is taken, then L, then O, then a space is skipped, and then W. So we get HLOW. It will print out everything at the index 0, 2, 4 and 6. Now let's see few examples on negative index. Yes, negative index also exists in a string. From backwards, the indexing would look like this. Now it's really simple to print a string in reverse. So to do that, just type leave the first index blank, the last index blank, and in the steps parameter just pass -1. So what it would do is it would traverse from the back. And then when we print it, it's out the entire string in reverse. Let's say we want to print the last 4 characters of a string. So to do that, we can just type -4 and leave the end index as blank. And then when we run it, we get the last 4 characters of the string. Right? Now, if I type -1, 7, and 2 steps at it, and I want it from reverse. So would we get any output? Yes. So from -1, so it's D, till 7, which is 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, which is O. So this is the range of our string that will be considered, and 2 steps at a time from behind. So it would be D and then R. And that is what we get in our output. Now what happens if I type -1 to -5? And by default, 1 step at a time. Would this work? Let's run it and see. No. This will give us blank output because back propagation is not possible in Python. We can only go from front. So if we do -5 to -1, this is valid, and this would give us -1 is D, -2, -3, -4, -5. So from -5 to -1, as we all know that end index is not inclusive, so it will be printed only till L. So we get WORL. These were all variations of slicing. This brings us to the next topic, which is string built-in methods. In the starting of the video, we had an overview of what built-in methods are. For strings, Python has provided us with such built-in methods which we can use. So the first one that we are going to see is to find the length of a string. So for this, we just type len and pass the string inside the brackets. So let's say len and the string that we want to find the length of. We can also pass a string variable inside the length method. So instead of the string, we can also pass message, which is our string variable. So to check if this gives us the right output, just type print before the method. And then when we run it, we get 11, which is the length of this value, hello world. Right? Now, it is also possible to store the length of this variable value in a variable, let's say message length. So what we type is message length is the name of the variable, and let's assign this length to this variable, and we can check the output by passing out the new variable name, and this also gives us 11. Now the next method is to lower all the characters in a string. So to do that, let's use the same message variable and keep on changing the methods that we are going to see. So to find the lowercase of all the characters in a method, just type message dot lower, and let's check the value of message variable now. So it prints all the characters in lowercase. So here we see that H and W were uppercase in a string, which has converted to lowercase. Similarly, to get the uppercase of a string, the method is upper. And now let's run it. We get all the characters in uppercase. The next method is called as title method. So to do this, let's just change our string to small characters. The next method is the title method. This method changes only the first character of the string to uppercase and makes the rest of the strings to lower. So let's say if we had a string like this, and let's now run it. it makes the string in the title case. That is, the first character is capital and the rest is small. Now let's add some blank spaces in our string. Right? And change our string to the previous value, hello world. Now there is a method called strip that removes blank spaces from the string. So let's say message.strip and let's run it. Now here we see that all the blank spaces before and after the words hello world are removed. Right? We need to remember that the blank spaces are removed only from the left and right of the string and not from between the strings. If we do this and run the statement, the spaces between the words remains as it is. So to just trim the left side of the string, we can use lstrip. Now when we run it, it gives us hello world and removes the spaces from the left side. We see here that spaces after the word world is still there. To remove the spaces from the right side of the string, we can just type rstrip and run it. The left side of the string, the left side of the spaces remain as it is, but the right side are removed. Now let's find out occurrences of characters in a string. Suppose I want to find out the count of character O in our string. So to do this, we can use count method. Let's say count character is our variable name, and to find out the count, we just type count and pass the character which we want to count in the brackets. Now let's print the character variable. When we print it, it gives out 2 as our output. Why? Because O is present twice. If the character is not present, then it returns 0 as the output. So if I type randomly Z, which is not present in our string, and then I run it, it gives me 0 because it is not present. We need to remember that this method is case sensitive. So if I type out capital O and run it, it will give me 0 because these are small characters and not capital. So the lowercase o and uppercase O are treated differently. There is another method called find, which tells us whether characters are present in a string or not. So let's say I change this to find method and let's see if O is present in it, and then when I run it, it gives me 8. Now this method will return the index of first O in our string. So first O is present at index 8. Why? Because there are blank spaces here. So 0, 1. Let's just remove these spaces. It will be easier for us. When I run this, I get 4 because it is present at index 4. So H is 0, E is 1, L is 2, the next L is 3 and O is 4. The next method is index method. This method returns the index of the first occurrence of the letter. Let's print it. It again gives us 4. Now you would wonder, then what's the difference between find and index method? The only difference is when a character is not present, find method returns -1 and index returns value error saying the substring is not found. So if I have a character Z which I want to find in this, and when I use index method, it gives me an error saying substring not found. right? So the next method is called as split method. This is a very cool method. It splits the string using a delimiter. So let's change our message variable to a new value. Let's say come code conquer. And I want to split this using spaces. So let's say message dot split, and inside brackets we pass the character that we want to split it with, right? And when we print it, it gives us this list of words separated by spaces. Now let's say we had commas in a string. Instead of spaces, we have commas, and we want to split this according to commas. When we run it, we get the same output separated by commas. We might even have a string with colons. So let's say I have colons in my string and I want to split it using colons. So very simple now. Just pass colon as our parameter to split method. And when we run it, we get the list come code and conquer. Now let's see another cool method called replace. As the name suggests, it replaces character with another character or characters in a string. So let's say I want to replace code. So let's change our string to come code conquer again. Let's say I want to change this value to program. So we can just type message dot replace, and the first one is what you want to replace. So it is code, and the next argument is what we want to replace it with. So it is program. So when we run this, so when we print this message variable, we get the output come program conquer instead of come code conquer. Now what would happen if I type a value which is not present in this? Let's run it. It will give us the same output as the variable value. Why? Because it couldn't find code inside the string, so it just didn't do anything. Now let's move on to the next method, which is called as is_lower. This tells us if our string has all the characters in lowercase. So if I type message.is_lower and then when I run it, I get false. Why? Because not all the characters in this string are in lowercase. Now if I change the values to lowercase and check the output, it should give us true. Yes. This method returns a Boolean value which is true or false depending on the output. So for this value, it prints us true. Similarly, if we want to check if our string is in uppercase, we would use is upper, right? And when we run it, it will give us false because all the characters are in lowercase. Now let's change the value of our variable to uppercase. Let's say come code conquer, and then when we run it, we get true since all the characters are in uppercase now. The next method is alpha, which tells us if all the characters in a string are alphabets and no other character is present in a string like numbers or any special characters. So when I say is alpha, now let's see the output of this statement. It gives us false. Why? Because there are spaces in the string. So if I remove the spaces and run it again, it will give us true because all the characters in the string are alphabets. Now let's say I change this to Come Code Conquer 101. Similarly, to check if a string contains all the decimal numbers, we use isDecimal. So instead of isAlpha, now we use isDecimal. And then when we run it, we get the output as false because this message variable has alphabets as well as numbers. So now, if I run this, it will give us true because all the characters are numeric. So these were a few built-in string methods. Cool, right? This brings us to the next topic, string operation. The first one is concatenation. To concatenate means to combine different strings together. So if I have hello as one string and world as another, and we want to join these two strings together, in Python we can do it using concatenation operator, which is denoted by sign plus. So let's type it. Let's clear these two statements and type hello and plus sign with another string world. And when we run it, these two are printed together. But this is not how we want, right? We want a space in between. So to add a space, we can just add it by using plus sign. After hello, we put a plus sign, then the character that we need to add, which is space, and then again a plus sign and world. So let's run it and we get the desired output. So another cool string operation in Python is multiply using star sign. If we want to print hello 3 times, we can just type hello star 3. And then when we run it, we get hello, hello, hello 3 times. So if we want to print hello and world 3 times together, we can just type hello plus, because we want to join these two strings, then world, and then into 3. So when we run it, we get hello and world 3 times. Another interesting way to generate string is using interpolation. So when we have a layout of a string value, let's say today we will be talking about something in something. Suppose this is my string and I want to fill these blanks when we use the string. So let's say I have two variables, topic and language. Let's define it. Let's say topic is strings and language is Python. And I want to fill these in the blanks inside my string. So let's say message is equal to this statement. The first way of interpolation is percentage format. So instead of these blanks inside our string, we will just type percentage %s, percentage %s. Right? Now, I will substitute these after the string by typing percentage and in the brackets topic, comma, language. And then when I print this value, we get the entire string. Today we will be talking about string in Python, right? So the first percentage %s is replaced with the first value in the bracket and the second value is replaced with the second value and so on. The next way is using f-string. We can achieve the same output using this format. We just type f before the string and instead of percentage %s, we use placeholders for variables using curly brackets. So let's use it. So before the string we use f, and instead of the substitution variables we pass curly brackets, and inside the brackets we type our variable names. And let's remove this. This is not required now. So now when I run this, we get the same output. Today we will be talking about string in Python, which is string is topic and Python is language. This is more readable than percentage format, and it is also possible to use expression inside the placeholders. So let's say my string is the length of string language is, and here we can type out length function, and inside I will pass language. And when I run it, I will get the length of string Python is 6, which is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Right? The next way is called as format method. This is applied to the string by using dot operator. So if I have these two variables, and now let's change the message variable to another value. Let's say today we will be talking about, again for format method we use placeholders. Let's say a in b, right? And then we use dot format, and in the bracket we substitute these variables. Say a is equal to topic, comma b is equal to language, right? So let's run it and we get the same output. Today we will be talking about string in Python. So this a is replaced with string and b is replaced with Python, right? So the next way to format the string is using template class. We do it by using the import statement. So at the start of your code, type from string import template. Here, string is a module and template is a class. These terms will be covered in later videos. For time being, just remember that to use template class, we get it by importing from string module. The next thing we need to do is define our string by passing it into template class. So let's say my string is template. In the bracket, we pass the string today we will be talking about, and those two variables we can use it by typing out $a in $b, and then we type the substitution statement and put it inside the print method to check the output. So let's say message dot substitute a is equal to topic, comma b is equal to language, and then when I run it, $a is replaced using topic variable and $b is replaced using language variable. The next thing is to check if a set of character or characters is present inside a string. We already saw two ways of doing this by find method and index method. This is the third way of achieving this. We can just type, let's clear all this. We can just type our string and then in operator and hello world. So what this does is it checks hello inside hello world string. So this should give us true, as hello is present inside hello world. Now let's say I just want to check I inside hello world. And when I run it, it gives us false. Why? Because capital I is not present inside the string. We can also use variables instead of these actual values. So let's say topic is equal to strings and value to check is equal to ing. So I want to check if ing is present inside this value strings. So what I can do is just type value to check in topic. This will give us true as ing is present inside the strings. There is another operation called as not in to check if a substring is not present inside a string. So let's say I have ABC which I want to check in this strings, and instead of in we can use not in. So value to check which is ABC not in strings. So this should give us true. Why? Because it is not present. Now this brings us to the last part of this tutorial where we answer how strings are immutable. Let's take an example to access character from the string. So let's go back to our message variable and type hello world inside it. Now let's say I want the character at index 3. So let me just do print message in the square brackets 3. So when I run it, I get L, which is at the third index of the string. Now let's try to update this value to P. Let's say message at the position 3 is equal to P. Now what do you think this will give us? Do you think this will work fine? Let's find out. Let's run it. This gives an error which says type error saying string does not support item assignment. And so strings are immutable. That is, once we define a string, its elements cannot be modified. However, it is possible to reassign the same string variable with a new value. So if I do message is equal to hello universe and then I run it, this will print out the new value of the string. We can also verify this by printing out the memory address of this variable message. This can be achieved using id method. So let's create this variable, let's say hello world, and print out the id of this. So instead of message, let's print out id and pass message variable. This gives us the number, which is the memory address of this variable message. Now let's assign new value to this variable. Say message is equal to come code conquer and print the id of this variable again, and when we print it we get this message variable is at a different location and the new value gives us the different location. So even when using built-in methods, we have to specify assignment while using them. So if my message is this, and then when I do message dot lower, just changing it, and then when we run this, again we get the different memory locations. This generates a new memory for message variable as the value is now modified to lowercase, and hence strings in Python are immutable. So that's all for this video, guys. In the next video we would be seeing numeric data type in detail and it's going to be exactly fun like this tutorial. So stay tuned. I have covered really a lot of part of strings here. So I hope you enjoyed this video. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel for more videos related to coding. If you have any queries, please feel free to comment below. Also, don't forget to press the bell icon to come code with me and conquer the world.